In more than 24 hours since the bombing at Kabul airport in Afghanistan, News 4's Tosin Fakile found one local veteran who has ties to that country and got his feelings on the bombings and the exit of troops.
We're in Clarksville, where active military family and retired military family live. We spoke to retired Command Sergeant Major Richard Holliday, who has served in Afghanistan, and he says seeing what has been happening there, he was hoping something like this bombing wouldn't happen. The grief and shock following the attack near Kabul airport on Thursday that killed Americans and Afghans is being felt halfway around the world.
She said, can you imagine being those families that were 3 days out from their loved one being back in their homes and they get a phone call? The living a lot of times are the concern in this situation now, and you know, if that were my son, it would be a hard pill to swallow.
Retired Sergeant Major Richard Holliday deployed to Afghanistan nearly 20 years ago, but the attack brings him right back to the war-torn country.
But my first thoughts were, okay, we need to look at this and see why this happened, what went wrong, and as we continue this withdrawal, then we need to pause and stop and figure out what happened and not let it happen anymore.
And it isn't just his fellow Americans he worries about. Here he is with his former Afghan interpreter.
Obviously, our first concern is U.S. citizens, but are we rushing to failure to those people that were loyal to us?
President Joe Biden vowed to hunt down the terrorists, which Holliday says is one step.
When I heard the president's warning yesterday about, hey, we're going to come get you. Okay, that's great. Right now, the concern needs to be on what caused it and how do we stop it from happening again. And I don't know if that's been addressed. So that's my number one concern.
Holliday knows the question you're probably asking. What does he think about the withdrawal of American troops?
Do I think it's time to pull our forces out of Afghanistan like I mentioned? Yeah, I think it's time that we pull out of there. If we're not making it any better, then we're just risking American lives. But the way in which we risk American lives needs to be with the utmost thought and consciousness to them and our allies.
In Clarksville, for News 4 Nashville, I'm Tosin Fakile.